Yo, what is going on, guys? J.Yumeko here, and today we're back with some more The Letter. Now, before we jump into this video, I just wanted to bring attention to my new channel banner. I put a lot of time into that. It was definitely a lot of work, but I think it looks really nice, and yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to share that with you guys, because I want you guys to see it as well. But yeah, eventually I'll probably change my channel logo just a little bit as well, but I don't know. It was just a fun little thing that I did that I wanted you guys to know about. Anyways, without further ado, let's jump right on back into it. I forget exactly what happened because I usually play this game in long intervals. Ah, yes, we're playing as Miss McCullough now, I believe. So I do remember actually what happened last time. So I believe that last time we ended off with Zach. I think that he was actually in the middle of being attacked by the ghost or something along those lines. I kind of forget, but the important thing that happened is that we saw a flashback, and in this flashback, I believe we saw the woman who eventually became the ghost. And in the background was it looked like I don't know if it's maybe the daughter or the owner of the original mansion, this haunted mansion. It looks like she might have been one of the original occupants of it. So my running theory is that she is something that she like tortured this other girl for whatever reason. We don't know their relationship. That girl died and then became this ghost that's kind of seeking out vengeance on people. So that's what I've gathered so far. All right, with that out of the way, let's go. 7:15 p.m. The numbers are so little on the top of my screen, and they glare at me with such intensity that I can just hear their accusations. I'm late for a night out with the girls, yes, but I have a perfectly good excuse, jeez. Considering I didn't follow typical office hours, they really can't expect me to be able to just go as I please at 5:30 on the dot. The client is, first and foremost, my priority. I have to sit tight with my personal assistant, Chris. Tells me we have a big one coming up, and that I shouldn't miss this one. He knows a lot more on the who's who and the what's what when it comes to these socialities, and I trust that judgment call. I really don't have time for rich people, their drama, and their politics. These sort who were born with silver spoons in their mouths and who were used to wagging their silver tongues about. I let him handle the negotiating with them for the most part. Why else would I have hired him? But he told me I'd receive a message about it an hour ago. What kind of voice should I give her? I think I originally gave her like a bit of an Irish or like a Scottish or something, because like McCullough, right? No, if only has the full shilling when it comes to the time. That's what I'll go with for now. Come on, I have a social life too, you know. To an extent. Sort of. Pressing my head against the table, I try to stave off an oncoming headache when the notification for a new email pops up. All I'm expecting is a, hey, this looks like a good project I found. Go send them a design. Or something like that, really. That's how it often goes. Even with these rich, jammy clients who's heard of me from their equally rich, jammy friends, I can't expect them to hire me right off the bat, which is all well and good and reasonable. We figure out what they want, send them my portfolio, my drafts for their projects, my rates, and hope for the best. This is a big client, Marianne. I'll babysit Birathale for you. Just please take on this project. I promise, this person is huge in Luxburn. Is this my message back to him? Who is it from? Johannes Rocken. Miss Parker, this is a formal request to secure the services of Marianne McCullough, hereinafter called the designer, as authorized by Hannah Wright, hereinafter called the client, for interior design at Ermengarde Mansion, Luxburn, LX18, ORF, United Kingdom. Oh, we're in the UK! I did not know that. Well, I figured Luxburn, like... I don't know if that's a real place or not. I'm not a geographical guy. Anyways, the client hopes to have the designer there on the 21st of October, Friday, with the time pending. But as I open the email and see that I've been requested by the client specifically, well, I certainly didn't expect that. And it's pretty straightforward, too. Anyone else would probably be excited. They would be working with the Hannah Wright. She's just one of those rich social elites that everybody loves to talk about, no matter how hard I try to tune out such nonsense. It would have been enough for me to reply an affirmative to Chris and leave, but he's never pleaded with me before to take a project. We've worked with big personalities in the past, celebrities, bankers, and even a few politicians. My PA had been indifferent about those. So the question bounced about my skull before I spy one of the email attachments. A newspaper clipping from the Luxburn Daily's business news sections, boasting the headline, Wright Enterprise donates $2.5 million to refuge. It certainly caused quite a stir back then. Apparently they had invited businessmen and social elites everywhere, in the guise of it being some big business announcement. $2.5 million, an expensive looking party to boot. Those people sure know how to throw their money around. Not that I should be so callous. They're going to do a lot of good and help a community of people with all those pounds. I, of all people, shouldn't criticize such acts, whether they're for a show or not. At the very least, I know that they'll be able to pay my rates. With the headline out of the way, however, I find myself staring at that picture that came along with the clipping. Because, wow. Here I am expecting a sour old woman in a blazer and skirt, but the woman that was plastered on the front page looks like she belongs on the front page of the entertainment section, or even, if I am to be crass, as the pinup of a glamour. Okay, I'll be real here. A men's magazine. She sure knows how to rock that dress. Wait. Her hair, her eyes, her lips. She can't be her. And at the same time, she is her, only several years older. She looks just like... No, come on, Mac. The world is full of pretty blondes. It's just a coincidence. With a shake of my head, I snap out of it and reach out for my phone when it buzzes, nearly falling off my chair in the process. Who else would be on the other line but the very people waiting for me? Oh, piss. I'm so sorry, Cam. I'm on my way. That's what I say. Yet I still don't move from my chair, face flushed and heart racing. I can only stare until I can will myself to reply that yes, I'm accepting the assignment. And it takes me even more time for me to adjust the close image, shut down the computer, and leave. Even then, it has already burned its image into my head, no matter how much I wish that it would just disappear. It makes me eager for the alcohol and the company. It makes me eager for anything that can help me forget. It's a good thing that the nearest pub is just a hop, skip, and a jump from here. So clearly we know her. The Galway Shawl, as it is called by those who frequent the place, is the only decent Irish pub in this county. She is Irish. You can pretty much tell that someone is new if they call it by its official name, the Crawl Bar. My home away from home ever since I've moved to Luxburn. Well, that's when I'm not cooped up in my condo and working away. It has good alcohol, good company, and thank God. Oh, and thank God in St. Cecilia, good music. Crowd favorites like the Bothy Noise, the High Wesleyan Men, and the Second Fusion Orchestra are often played, not to mention the singing. I love singing. Anyone could just break out into a drinking song, and the others in the pub were just wonderful that they'd start singing along. And doing so while intoxicated is the best ways to go about it. Hey, it's a win-win as long as I don't puke in the middle of the chorus, and as long as I can get home in one piece at the end of the day. And tonight is karaoke night. What better time than to try and sing all my worries away? That's what my intoxicated brain tells me. The ghost of guilt and the sorrow reminds me who I am. And in the prison of my heart, I was my only slave. But drinking only reminds me of my home, and the thought of home makes me think of her. Is there a way I can just get the image? That would be very cool. Alright, wait, let's see. Branching. Well, it looks like a relationship with Hannah is pretty good. But in the depths of my cold soul, I'll leave the burden and despair. It makes me nauseous. It sickens me that the smallest reminder of her can cause me such grief. I'll fight for what's worth fighting for. Forget the fear, forget the rest. Of course, that must be the booze. Any other day I would have scolded myself for drinking so much. I lie to the Lord, I lie to myself. I lie to you and everyone I care until there are no more lies to tell. But I already have a client, and we'll be having our first little meet and greet in a few days. Cowardice is easier than being brave, but at least I found the strength I lost to sing my love letter to you. 'Cause people can lie, but my lone heart beats true. I want I want to at least enjoy the night, get over the hangover tomorrow, and return to being a prim and proper professional laughter. That song was for Cam, our lucky bride-to-be. So give her a hand, Galway Shawl. Considering the state I'm in, one can excuse my smug grin as cheers and applause rise among the pub's patrons. Because, possibly off-key public singing aside, I feel like I'm on top of the world right now. And that's a good reason as any to belt out in front of these strangers. With good drinks and good friends, there's nowhere else I'd rather be tonight. And I forget for a short while. That song was... Fuck. And that song was brought to you by Marianne McCullough, everyone. A round of applause. That was so good. You rock, Marianne. Oh, please stop. You're just saying that. I should probably give them Irish accent song. You know that neither of us can hold a tune, Marianne. A toast to our shameless drunk singer. May your drinks forever flow and your notes be ever lovely. If anyone deserves a toast tonight, that's Cam. Finally sealed the deal after 3 years, eh? Read them and weep, bitches. Kamala's diamond engagement ring gleams as she holds it up for the world to see. She has reason to be proud. 3 years of living together, and her boyfriend finally asked her the big question. Obviously, she said yes. Don't get too attached to that ring. Don't get too attached to that ring or the one after, sweetie. I was wearing a wedding ring not so long ago, and look where I am. But enough of me being a downer. Cheers to a happy engagement. Of course, if something like Haruna's divorce were to happen, I'd be there for Cam. Just as Cam had been there for me, acting more than just my yoga instructor. I can't be happier for my friend right now. Cheers! Cheers! Well, we both will be there for Cam, won't we? Haru and I. Haruna. It's been a real bad year for her ever since her divorce. She's such a nice person, even loaning me money to open a studio, and she didn't deserve what her husband had pulled. I'm happy she's smiling and pigging out like she used to. I think we've all missed our Japanese firecracker. Ah, she's Japanese. Okay. Well, no shit. Her name is fucking Haruna. We met in yoga class, something I had joined to keep myself in shape, and, well, honestly, so that I could make friends when I had moved to Luxburn. Clearly, it worked like a charm. And it definitely didn't have anything to do with the fact that I brought along my lucky D20 die with me on that first day, no sir. I love these girls so much. What about you, Marianne? You're 30 years old and you still haven't gotten yourself a man. And you guys know I have a very busy schedule. I don't have time for that. Oh, come on, that's just a lame excuse and you know it. You need a man who'll take care of you and you need it now. Maybe some hunk will be your house hubby while you rake in the dough. I'm quite capable of taking care of myself. Who needs a mister, right? Hey, look at me. I'm Marianne McCullough, a lawful neutral clerk with 9 points in wisdom and 8 in charisma, but I can't get myself a date. I mentioned druids and demons once. Once! They didn't even know the rules or understand what the numbers mean. And I certainly am not some sort of holy person. I'm a far cry from a miracle worker, and I barely have the willpower to fight off demons, especially my own. Actually, maybe she isn't looking for a Mr. Right, but a Mrs. Right? Oh my, Marianne, we still love you even if you're in the closet. That would explain some things. I don't know. You don't have a ring anymore. Maybe you two can be together and I don't have to worry about my best girls being alone. What are you on about? There's nothing to explain. But the more I deny, the louder they tease until the other people in the pub start to watch. It doesn't help at all when Haruna drapes her arm around my shoulder and leans in. Will I be all yours then? Will you be making me feel like a woman? I know they're just kidding around, but this doesn't make me comfortable in the slightest. So when Kamala notices my silence and Haruna sees the expression on my face, they stop. And when the awkward air settles over us, the rest of the pub goes back to whatever they were doing before the whole thing ever happened. They probably won't even remember when they wake up with massive hangovers anyway. Sorry. Me too. Hey, no hard feelings, right? I raise my glass. They smile. We drink. There's no need to say more. We're all definitely far too drunk tonight. Eventually, the fun times end. It is a weekday after all. And with Haruna being a nurse, she still has to get ready for her next shift. Cam also has a loving fiancé waiting for her at home. and really didn't have to make a fuss about having left some buns in the oven when she took off early. Really, I understand. I was the one who insisted, who's determined to get pissed drunk anyway. Moving to the bar, I sit. Alone at last. Alone with a stranger. I haven't seen him here before. Obviously not a regular. He hasn't said a word and just sits there savoring his drink. With his whiskey served neat in one hand and lighter on the other, it doesn't seem like he's noticed me yet, and maybe I should go away before he does look my way. Because he was pretty, and he was blonde, and those two things plus alcohol never did me any good. A thought too late. Judging by the way his flushed face and the dazed look in his eyes, he's as pissed drunk as I am. But whereas I feel like killing over, he looks like he's still ready to take the catwalk by storm. Really, he just has the air of one of those men who think they own the world. Give me 1 second. Hello, everybody. Doesn't want to either.
Maybe they just didn't like it?
You never know. You what do you want? I'd stand in a place similar to it. Anxiety easily washes over me. Alright, I guess I'm gonna start reading, like, the thought text in her voice. Because why the hell not? I love doing Irish accents. Really, he just has the air of one of those men who think they own the world. Hey there, sexy. Please don't stand up on my account. I already like what I see. Fancy a drink? It'll be on me. But then again, I might be pleasantly surprised if he proves me wrong. Want some between the sheets? Sex on the beach? I'm talking cocktails, of course. Fat chance. But it doesn't matter. We both know how to play this game. And there are two different ways for the night to end. One thing or another is going to happen. The question is, what do I want to do? Oh no, that's fine. I'd rather order some blue balls or some AMF if you don't mind. He looks like he's about to say some witty retort, but stops himself and downs the rest of his whiskey. I order a mint julep, he gets another whiskey, and we start the customary small talk. Of course, the saying, ask me no questions and I'll tell you no lies goes without saying. We ask nothing about each other, offering up falsehoods to establish a strenuous fake connection between two strangers at a pub, if only to pass the time. Whiskey, as I have come to call him, is supposedly 21 years old, single, takes care of his sick mother and is a manager of some sort. Manager of what? I didn't care to listen to the details. Meanwhile, Mint, as he's come to call me, is 29, and I'm... What did I say I was again? Oh, yes, I told him that I was a professional chocolate taster. Because fuck it, if I'm gonna lie about what my job is, I might as well make it fun. There's a pretty decent chat between two pretty drunk strangers. Maybe it's just me. But we might as well fucking... Oh, fuck, I can't read that. We might as fucking well expend a tiny amount of effort in pretending that there's something meaningful in this meeting. It would have been nice too, if it was just left at that. But during a lull in the conversation, he brings it up. You know, I've never been with a woman taller than me. And I think he might have been different from the rest. Never have and never will, Whiskey. Can we go back to the history of chocolates? Did you know that the chocolate candy was introduced in the 19th century as England? Did you know that the chocolate was introduced in 19th century England as a healthier alternative to alcohol? St. Lucy was the most beautiful woman of her time. She had men come from the far corners of the world just to see the pure light of her exquisite green eyes. If she were so lucky, anyway. No, enough of the history lesson. Come on, Min, you know and I know what you came here for. Though not every suitor was gallant, and she was no fool, she had known that sooner or later she wouldn't be able to defend her chastity. Come on, there must be something that gets you going. So she had taken out a knife and gouged out her own eyes. There is something, but I don't think you can handle it. Impressed with her devotion, God restored her eyes and made them more beautiful than before. She has a peculiar sense of humour. He has a peculiar sense of humour, hasn't he? Because that only meant suitors kept going after Lucy, and she kept her eyes in a chalice to scare them away. No, I'm pretty sure I can handle whatever it is. St. Lucy, help me. Help me turn away from sin. Help me with my own blindness. My place isn't too far from here. I won't take care of you if it ends up being too much for you. And no one will be able to hear you if you try to scream. You sure you want to go down that road, pretty boy? I wouldn't have it any other way. No way! Bruh, oh my god. So, Mary Ann... Oh no, she cocked Hannah. Oh, I feel so bad for Hannah, dude. This poor woman. The best thing about having my condo so close to the pub is the ease of access. As long as I can still stand and walk, I can make it home. Maybe I'd need help from a kind neighbour or two to help me with the last leg if I've really gone overboard on the alcohol. But I always made it home. Sometimes with company. Of course, that would always cause complications, especially with the real clinky ones. But it isn't anything a good tip about stalkers to the building security can't fix. I'm always nervous though, even if this isn't my first time I've done this. And the first few minutes when we enter my room are the first few agonizing minutes where I try not to panic. Okay, Mac, so far so good. Don't let him smell your fear under all that liquid of courage. He'll leave sooner or later and I'll never see him again, just like every other man before him. I like to say to myself that the men I brought to my place are more scared than I was. Yet there's no fear when I look into Whiskey's eyes, only delight. When he starts touching me, I don't even hesitate when I push him against the door. Roughness is to be expected, and as long as he sticks to the script, everything will go smoothly. We'll have our little tumble in the sheets, he'll leave, we'll forget about it. If somebody asked me what I really wanted, I would have told him that I wanted a bed of roses, chocolates and music, maybe in an Irish castle. But all I really want is her, and that's never going to be a reality. That was my fault, of course, because I was afraid, because I was a coward. They would never hold a candle up to her. She is the light of my life, and I let her go. I can't even be bothered at the thought of her. Just a single thought of her makes me resolve to see this affair through with her. Wait. What is it now? Yes, what is it now? What is it going to be, Marianne? To sex or not to sex? No! We are not doing this! This is wrong. We're both drunk. And? This is wrong. Don't you think it's a little bit fucked up that we're about to have sex and we're just calling each other by the drinks that we had? How messed up are we? Dole, shut up with the ethics and morality talk. It is seriously putting me out of the mood. If you want to leave now, Whiskey, I understand. I mean, with how smashed you are, it'd probably be best for you to sleep tonight, unless you want to get mugged. But I won't stop you, and this isn't going to happen. Bloody hell. Of course, he's annoyed at me for putting off our night of sexual congress. Cock blocked. I like that achievement. But no means no. And beyond spewing a few profanities under his breath, he surprisingly simmers down soon enough. I was worried for the moment that he might try to force something. Instead, he makes a show of fixing his suit and smoothing down his hair, before making himself comfortable in the nearest seat that he could find. What are you going to do then? You have a guest in your home. Put the damn kettle on. Dandelion tea if you have it, but I suppose all you have are those shitty tea bags from the store. If it isn't for the absurdity of the turn of events, I would have flipped him off for thinking I have no taste. But in the end, I just laugh. All I got are cans of Korean ginseng and lemon balm though. No dandelion. Without a second thought, I do wet the tea. That's 3 minutes to get the kettle to a boil. 3 minutes where we say nothing to each other. I mean, what do you expect to say to the guy I was going to sleep with until I changed my mind? I doubt he's in the mood to talk about the influence of Troyes and Malroy. It's still unusual by the time we're both seated on my bed, with mugs of tea in hand. Just so you know, whatever's going on right now is a lot stranger and fucked up than the one night stand. Two messed up individuals by your logic. Everything is messed up if you ask me. War, terrorism, famine and poverty, loved ones and love lost. This whole world is a cesspool. The dead air is telling me when it fills the room once more. One would think that this is the perfect time to burst, to spill about whatever issues that made us the fucked up person we are today. And it is. But I guess some part of me would rather not put the weight of my problems on someone else's shoulders. It wouldn't be too fair to leave that to a person when I don't even know if we'll ever see each other again. Sooner rather than later, we both pass out on my bed, mugs left forgotten on the floor. When I wake, whiskey's already gone. A bottle of painkillers and a note on the table are the only evidence that I wasn't alone last night. I don't even question where they're from, or just how he knew my real name. I'm just grateful for something to help with the hangover. Might as well. I have a job to do. Huh, interesting. So clearly she had some kind of girl that she loved, but something happened and she let her go. So I guess we're just going to have to figure out who exactly that is. But here's the thing, though. Just with the way she's acting, I'm going to take a guess here. I'm going to take a stab at it, and I'm going to say that Marianne was in love with Hannah. And now it's going to be this really awkward thing where it's like, oh, the girl that I used to be in love with but I let go is married to the guy who I almost had a one-night stand with. But the guy who she's married to is also cheating on her, but he's cheating on her with me, and it's going to be this like really weird like triangle thing going on. It isn't often that I think about drinking on the job, but after meeting with the rates yesterday, it really makes me want to break my self-imposed rules. Because first off, fucking damn whiskey was fucking damn Minister right. And to top it all off, they had somehow forgotten to inform me that they didn't own the Ermengarde mansion yet when they hired me. But what sort of person does that? Ugh, rich people. I could do nothing but twiddle my thumbs at this, however. Twiddle my thumbs and wait for the go signal. It's not like I can accept other smaller projects. This is a big job and I should be ready to start on it at any time. Not to mention that my PA practically begged me to be patient and wait this one out. It was a hard decision to agree, but I did so in the end. Besides, I'm doing this for the Ermengarde mansion, not for anything or anyone else. I'd have a headache whatever I do anyway. I'd go to the pub again, but seeing what happened a few days ago, I'd rather not end up in bed with another potential client. And it might be a huge leap in logic, but the library is the next best thing after the pub. I had to go there anyway. I need more books. For Dad. Plus, I also need to return the ones I borrowed last time. Finding a new book or two to read with myself, while I have nothing to do, isn't such a bad idea either. So on a Saturday morning, I find myself going to the library, the only library in Luxburn, to hopefully cool off. After returning in Urzuli and a poetry book by Henry of Paulbrady, I asked the librarian about the several titles on my list, though I don't have much luck on that front. Dialogue with Death has already been snatched, and she bluntly says that she did not keep our mathematical universe for someone who didn't return books on time. I make headway at least when I ask about Siege and Redemption of Havana by Jacobo de Pizzula. If you count her snarling and pointing out the history section as headway, that is. The history section is devoid of any other except for myself and a redhead, though I'd wager I guess that Red's just passing by to get the classical literature section. So many books, so little time. Scanning the books and seeing so many wonderful titles gives me great pleasure, and that's when I spot it. Hello, sailor. Why don't you come to Mama? It's not the naval battle book I was looking for. No, it's even better. The newly acquired History of Luxburn Architecture. First edition too. I know, I just have to get it. I've been waiting to get my hands on this book for so long. The fact that there's only one copy proves to be a problem, though, when Red reaches out for it at the same time as I do. Ah. I think I had this first, miss. I can only stare down at her when she refuses to let go of the book. Refusing to let go of it as well. I raise a brow at her in hopes that the fact that I was significantly taller than her would intimidate the girl. Even then, she refused with a rebellious look. This isn't exactly light reading, miss. I mean, do you even know which architecture was at the forefront of 18th century Irish architecture? A beat. She blinks and I can't help the smirk on my face, which is wiped off when she opens her mouth. Edward Levitt Pierce, who established the Palladian style through his work with Castletown House and the Irish House of Parliament. This bridge was destroyed in this year to This bridge was destroyed in this year to delay French troops under the regency of Mary Guise. This is not what I was expecting. Let's be honest, how many people would know these history facts? Aside from me, anyway. Going right to the obscure ones, are you? Easy enough. Tullibody Old Bridge in Clackmanshire, Scotland on the January of 1560 if you want to be specific. Suddenly, it's a game where we throw these history questions and facts at each other, back and forth in hushed tones unless we want to be thrown out of the library. After a while, it goes from some strange competition into this strange but friendly banter, if it could be called that. But as fun as it is, the exchange soon slows down until we're grinning at how odd this whole scene is. Marianne McCullough, my desire for potatoes doesn't quite match what the stereotypes suggest. Rebecca Gales, the Scots' supposed hatred for the English wasn't enough to stop me from taking their little spawns. Oh, is she Scottish too? Wait, let's see. The Scots' supposed hatred for English wasn't enough to stop me from teaching their little spawns. I'm pretty sure she's English though. I think she's English. Oh, I don't know. This is like my first round. Well, not really, but like, oh man, whatever. We're just gonna fucking forget about it. I let go of it without realizing when she answered my first question. History teacher, eh? Good in one. No wonder you gave me a run for my money. Now, if we're talking about architecture, I blow you out of the water. You're from where? Luxburn Uni? Oh no, just St. Goretti's. Ah yes, St. Goretti. You'd think a school would choose a more appropriate saint to name themselves after, especially when they are very young students. And I'm guessing you're an architect, if you're so confident about the subject. Interior designer, Miss Gales. Please, just call me Rebecca. You aren't one of my students, are you? Marianne, then. I could have said that I was an architect, but there's no point in explaining why I wasn't one anymore. So, I've never seen you before. I'd like to think I've met every history aficionado in this town. I blame the rock that I've been hiding under, of course. That and I'm usually the only one here on the weekdays, if time allows. Work often has me meeting clients on the weekends. That must be interesting work. It allows for some creative freedom, sure. But it's like working with children sometimes, though you probably have it harder working with actual children. The hardest part is convincing them that your idea is their idea. That sounds exciting. It is. But isn't that true for any workplace, though? We just cross our fingers and hope there aren't any man-children in charge of important things. Any big projects right now? I can't imagine that interior design is a frequent thing. I'm working on the Ermengarde mansion, lucky me. That mansion. Lawn tack. Wonderful. Breathtaking. I can't wait to start on it. Now, that is beautiful architecture. A pause. It looks like she wants to say something at the mention of the house. I'm not surprised. That place is certainly popular with the locals, especially with the urban legends attached to it. In the next second, though, she seems to think better of it and drops what she's about to say. So, do you have a portfolio or anything I could take a look at? I'd love to see your designs. Maybe have some on a tablet. I've met some designers before, and they're always going crazy over these virtual room apps or another. But tablet? Please, Callicrates didn't need those silly iTabs when he built... I can't talk! Man, they're throwing some fucking names at me, man. A tablet? Please. Callicrates didn't need those silly iTabs when he built the Parthenon. I certainly don't need one to design a house. The computer back at the place is all I have. Why should I buy such an expensive gadget when that will just get outdated within the year when what I have is just as functional? Oh my god, my eye. Oh, sheesh, my eyeball. Very itchy. The traditional ways had a far more personal touch in my opinion. Not to mention those smartphones are awful tools of procrastination. I can't even count with one hand the number of people I see going outside only to have their eyes glued to the things. And fuck touchscreens. They're evil things that make typing what should have been a simple task harder. I do have an online portfolio. If you'd like, I can... Speaking, or thinking that the devil seems to have summoned it, because before I can even carry on, Rebecca's attention wanes as she pulls out her mobile. For what I can only assume is a call, she gives me an apologetic look before standing up and excusing herself. Off farther into the aisle she goes for some privacy. I do my best to give it to her as well, trying to tune her out. Belle, is something wrong? Lunch in the coffee house? Sure, I can make it. I'm not too far. I can be there in 10. But without quite the surroundings, she can't blame me if I overhear snippets of her conversation. When she returns with a sheepish look on her face, I know that our friendly chat has to be cut short. Sorry, I have to go and meet with some friends. It's fine, totally fine. No need to even apologize. About the book... Her embarrassment increases twofold when she realizes that she's holding on to the history of Luxburn architecture. I don't give her time to think about it as I put up my hand and shake my head. Fishing out a pen and paper from my bag, along with one of my business cards, I hand them over to her. You know, I'm busy with work, so I might not even be able to take a peek at it anytime soon. You can go ahead and have it. But you'll have to ring me up when you're returning it, just so I can snag it right away. Deal? She makes quick work, penning her number down and handing it back to me with a grin. Deal. Just message me during school hours, of course. You have a good day, then. You too. With Rebecca gone, I'm left alone standing in the history section. Although my original plans were simply to sit down and read a good book, a little pop quiz, if you could call it that, made the time pass by without any of us realizing it. It was fun, and I do believe I made a new good friend. Good job, Marianne. Even with the talk of lunch, however, I don't feel like grabbing a bite to eat. There are still other books to read here, and I'm hoping to find something that will help me while I work with the rights. Something like How to Deal with Arseholes Professionally 101. Just in case. I've dealt with a lot of uppity, snooting rich clients before, but it's still better to be safe than sorry. Because Luke Wright just takes the fucking cake, and he probably manages to eat it too. It seems the world is conspiring to keep me from me time, as my mobile vibrates in my pocket the moment I find something from the shelves of the classical literature section. Marianne McCullough, Charlie Rose Design speaking. Rose Cooper here, Miss McCullough. I hope I didn't catch you at a bad time or anything, but I just wanted to check in and tell you that you've got the clear to hand over documents. Madam Wright told us that we should forward the floor plans to you. Already? How did they go through with the process so fast? Surely there's so much red tape to even acquire the forms in the transferring of rights. No matter how rich the rights are, it shouldn't be this quick, right? So if I can just have your email, I'll be sending them your way. I'd actually like a physical copy of the floor plans. Oh, I suppose that's fine. I'm not at work right now, but I can inform Miss Santos of your request. I'll make sure to drop by the office after lunch, if that's fine. Not a problem. Right, well cheers. Right, cheers. I don't know. I just don't. There's some sort of deeper miscommunication when last we met. These things take time. It's been, what, a day? Less than that, even. There isn't even a point in trying to make sense of these people who seem to be larger than life. Alright, how long have we been going? 40 minutes, damn, we've actually been going quite a while. Alright, I think that we're going to go ahead and stop it there. I guess we can save. Alright, so some interesting things for sure. Because Marianne, oh man, they really are impressing me with this. Because obviously, like, you know, Isabella introduced kind of like main character kind of dealio, but then it's like, oh, now we're switching over characters to Hannah. And at first you're thinking, oh, Hannah's just some rich snob, yada, yada, yada. But no, it's actually like, no, she is a victim. She's a fucking victim. Zach, obviously we learned about his past traumas with his parents being murdered. Which, yeah, yikes, right? And now with Marianne, obviously now we know that there was a girl that she loved. And again, I'm sticking with my guns here. And I'm still thinking that Hannah is going to be Marianne's like past lover or love interest or whatever she was. And that's probably gonna be like, and who knows, maybe it's gonna be a thing of like, maybe Marianne is gonna pull Hannah out of this like toxic abusive relationship that she has with her husband. But again, right now I'm seeing that all the stories seem to be coming to a clashing point. So I don't know if once we get through all these characters, if we're going to circle back around to Isabella. Although fairly enough, we did see the aftermath of what we ended off Isabella with when we transferred over to Zachary's story. So yeah, I am kind of curious because obviously all of these paths are intertwining right now, and they're eventually going to all come together and intersect completely. So that'll be pretty interesting to see how that actually plays out. But you know, that's going to be for this time. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like on the video and tell me in the comment section below what you would like to see me play next. If you enjoyed this video or any of the videos or series on my channel, then I highly recommend you hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you'll be notified when a new one of the videos comes out. Anyways, that's it from me, and I'll see you in the next one.